How's it going, everyone? Well, it's the last update of the year, and it's also Russ' 11th birthday, so hey, there we go. It's pretty much some quality of life stuff and mostly some changes here and there, but there is a lot of stuff off in the horizon. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the quality of life stuff that has come in today's update. You now see a indicator for hostile peacekeeper turrets, which is nice in the top right of the screen. Work carts now have a small storage box. Water pumps are now have more kind of like specific depths, so they'll work with a shorter depth in rivers and so forth. Propane tanks now stacked to 20, which is beautiful. Dropbox now has 4 input slots instead of 1. Junk piles will despawn once anything's been looted, so no more of someone just leaving one single thing and it not respawning, which is just annoying. Fridge has been increased to 48 slots, which is amazing. And homing missiles have been added to the Bradley and attack helicopter loot boxes, which is really nice. Another thing, wolves kind of were tearing people up, so they've done some balancing to it. If you want to read through it, they've done some adjustment of how fire works, how they follow you, how long they follow you, how many wolves, and so forth. So they want you to go ahead and try it out again for another wipe, give some more feedback. They're also working on horse AI right now, to where horses can actually jump and go up and down like ledges and so forth. Also, if you hit something a little too hard, you'll fly off the horse like a motorcycle does currently in game. So yeah, there's quite a few things. It looks like that's the next thing. They're also working on a little bit of the scientist AI as well, so that is nice, especially or specifically I should say, with the junk pile ones. Next, Electricity has seen some quality of life. The coil now has a maximum power usage from 35 down to 25, still has the same amount of health. Storage monitor has a pass-through, elevators have been increased in speed by 50%, and batteries will now have a extra output slot on the side of the battery to do an indicator if they're full. So, you know, you can attach like a little light on the wall and it will turn on when your battery is full, or maybe once battery is full, then it'll start sending a signal, etc. You can do lots of different things with that. Another thing worth mentioning is you can now shred up helicopters. Minicopters worth 200 scrap, scrap transport heli is 300, and attack heli 500. And yeah, so you know, you can steal it and get paid. Hey, you know, it kind of goes like that. It also works with the 50% health, and you get 50% of the scrap. So that is kind of how they cut it up. So if you got less than half health, then you're only gonna get 100, 150, and 250 respectively. So that's how that kind of goes with respectively. So that's how that goes with that. Moving on, some exchange prices have been changed with the dynamic pricing and how that works. If you want to know the details, you can go ahead and check it out on the blog. Then underwater visibility has been updated again. We will plunge off into the water and take a look at that as well. Landmines now also have a 15% chance of exploding when disarmed by another player. So that adds a little bit of fun to it. And I believe, lastly, the node sparkles have changed a little bit. And the way they kind of move around. And it really actually, I guess, they did it to help mostly with the minigames as well as it actually helped with entities. So hey, that is a nice thing because hey, they say it was a slight memory improvement, which is really nice. They've also done some improvements to how queues work, which is really nice. There's Archon security enhancements they've worked on, native hardware support for ARM64, and then of course we have Twitch Rivals coming back with Team Battle 5. I'll have a video out for you guys shortly showing off all the skins that are going on there. There's also now built-in server profiler that can be used for admins. Then map making and modding prefabs are being worked on, and there's some additional, you know, things you can see right here that they've all done. And lastly, Christmas update will be December 16th. So keep an eye out for that. We should have some holiday skins popping in as early as the 12th, I believe. So there we have it. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple of other little things that are changing in the game before we take a look what came in the update. So coming up, there looks like there may be some bag changes. It looks like they didn't make it into this update, but sleeping bags will be pick-upable if they are within your building auth, even if they're not owned by you. So if people kind of spam bags up in your zone, you can just go ahead and pick them up instead of having to destroy them. Now this isn't a finalized change. It could have other things in addition to it, other limitations, who knows. But right now, how does that make you guys feel about that? In addition to that, a lot of people saying, well, you can shoot straight through the ice sculptures and use them as blocks. And yeah, they'll tank like a hit or two, but not too much. But it looks like that won't even matter because you're not going to be able to shoot through them, as this patch note says right here. And speaking of the ice sculpture, not only have they nerfed it to where you can't shoot through it, but it has a power input now, and you can change colors. As you can see, there's also a pass-through. And yeah, if we press E, we can go ahead and set our color. Set it to purple. And I think if we actually kill our lights here, it'll actually help see it much better. There we go. Alright, set color. Purple. Green. Blue. Orange. Red. And then back to white, which seems to be default. As you can see, it's also on a new decorative stand, which looks much, much better. And as you'll see back here is like the little bit of electrical stuff. But yeah, definitely a really nice addition, making this quite a cool thing. Then moving on, the jungle ruins are seeing quite a few commits. A lot of work being done to it, so I don't know when this will be next year, but I'm looking very forward to this. We've got crocodiles, we've got snakes, we've got swingable jungle vines. I don't know if they're going to work like zip lines or if it's literally like Indiana Jones swinging around Tarzan kind of situation. Who knows? And there's going to be jaguars and just who knows. It looks really exciting. There's a jungle temple of some sort in the ruins. So very excited to see some stuff whenever that may happen. It's good to see a lot of commits going towards it. Then there's also something called the Knight Armor DLC. So it looks like something will be skinned to look like a knight. I don't know if it's going to be heavy armor or if it is going to be high qual. We will just have to see once there's something in game to view about that. Then the triangle planter is going to be something that's coming to the game as well. This is something I think a lot of people have wanted for a while, but yes, a planter that is a triangular shape. It's simple, it's sweet, and it's nice. When it comes to the shields and other stuff from Primitive, like all of the siege weapons, it looks like work continues on all of them, and that Primitive will be either some sort of a tier for the world. So it kind of looks like there might be, you know, like epochs or, you know, certain levels to a new game type being added. So you might be stuck in like primitive tier for a certain amount of time and then eventually you can upgrade, or maybe some servers may stay that way. I don't know. We have no information really on it, but they are calling it an era, so that seems to be the term that they're going with. One way or another, we also have a medieval barricade of some sort coming up. I don't know if it's going to be a skin for an existing one or a whole new barricade altogether, but I figured that was worth mentioning. Alright, here we are finally in game, so let's take a look. Like I said, it is Russ' 11th birthday, so there's that 11th birthday cake, of course. So, you know, when you spawn, you should be spawning with the birthday cake now instead of the normal rock. And, woo, hey, we made it. So, with that, I did mention that there is now the fully charged output, so I wanted to show where it was on each one of the batteries. You can see on the small battery, it's right there, then right here, and right here. So that's how that works with those. Also with electricity, you can now press R to rotate them anyway, just like the other conveyor parts and so forth, and it just makes life a little easier, which is very nice. And then we can take a look at that extra fridge space. I mean, look at that. That just looks so nice. Then you've got those slots with the increased stacks. Boom. And then with vending machines, we now actually have a new option. If you go into Administrate, you'll see there is the drone support button, but see stats. And then you got total sales, when you seem to have the most sales at, you know, peak hours, how many different customers, how many repeat, who your best customer, blah, blah, blah. And you can see all this kind of stuff, and you can change it by the time as well. So that's kind of a cool little thing to go along with people who are really into selling stuff in their vending machines. And I think that's a cool little change. Now, with that, you'll see I'm walking around. We do have a Twitch Rivals event coming on. But what is this thing on my back? Some people have asked, and they're like, what is it? And it's actually a special backpack skin that has a like flag sticking out of it, and it's for the event. So this isn't a skin, it's not going to be for sale. Just like this hazmat suit is specifically for the event. So hopefully that clears it up for some people. There. We also have the pass-through. If we can jump up here, right? You'll see you've got a pass-through now with the modder, as we read earlier in the quality of life changes. So I think that covers most of the little stuff. We do have another little thing with the legacy shelter. It was put to where you could only previously put one down, and then it was kind of a pain because then you'd have to go, wherever the other one was and break it. And that's kind of a big annoying deal. If you actually go ahead, it'll say placing the shelter will destroy your last shelter, and then you can go ahead and click again and hold. Oh, there we go. And boom, it destroyed over there, and now we have one over here. So that's a nice little change there. Do make sure it turns blue after you do the confirmation there. I could have been holding that one for a while. The next thing is the 16 times scope has actually just changed straight to the variable scope. So you'll actually see, if we go ahead and take it off, variable zoom. If you put it on and you zoom, and I believe it should be page up and down. Yep. We'll zoom in, let's see, we'll look at this barrel. So boom, 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 boom. There you go. You can cycle through all the previous scopes, which is pretty nice. And you can go ahead and change that from page up and down on your keyboard to whatever you like, of course, in the options and under your controls. So that is a nice little thing as well. But yeah, I think that's a big little upgrade to this. And I always say things that kind of contradict each other, like big little, like that. But I think you guys know what I mean. And speaking of little, I don't know if anyone ever noticed before, but there used to be a line going across the flat part of the hammer that almost lined up with the actual like pole going through it. And I guess this had to do with like an old version of Unity and other stuff like that. And it was just an old model that's been sitting around for over 10 years. And well, Tom went back and he fixed it. So that weird line is now gone on the default hammer, and it's nice and smooth and updated for Rust 2025. So yeah, very small thing, but it's still fun. With cars now, there is also the car radio. If you look at your crafting and type in radio, you'll see it pops up. It's going to require workbench level 1. It's going to be 120 metal fragments. And you do need to have the sound props DLC to make it. So it is a free addition to a old DLC that you can always pick up at any time. And right now I believe it is all on sale. So hey, if you don't have it, that might be the time to pick it up. But basically, you can craft it, and then you just put on your hotbar. You'll see the little ghost image pop up, and boom, now it's in your car. We can jump on into our car. Car has to be started for the radio to work. And boom, there you go. It works just like a regular radio. It has all the different channels and so forth, and etc. And I believe passengers can actually interact with it, but obviously the engine has to be on, so I need a second person in here. But there you have it. You can cruise around with a car radio now. Which, hey, for everyone who spends a lot of time in vehicles, I think that is a fun little thing. So, one of the bigger changes is actually a change to how high external walls work. And so the first thing we want to do is check out the walls themselves. You'll notice they may have changed a bit. So, if you go ahead and you look here, it costs 3,000 wood and 2 gears. And then you've got 4,000 wood. But then if we take a look at this now, it's 4,000 wood, and 1 sheet metal, but it makes 3. And then for the gate, it's reduced gears, but it now also requires a sheet metal. Now, you still have to craft them in order to place them, but you can now upgrade, so you don't have to worry about, destroying your old walls, or burning them down, or letting them decay, or just not putting up any until you get stone. So now you can literally just go on up to it, and you can say upgrade to stone. Oops, and it's blocked by me. There we go, upgrade to stone. And boom, you'll see it took one of the walls out of our inventory. Same thing. Upgrade to stone. Upgrade to stone. You'll see it took the gate from us. You'll see that the code lock stays on and everything. You do have to stay a little bit away from it so that you don't get trapped in it. You'll see it does close up gaps pretty nicely, and I think the upgrade function is just really nice. And you do have the demolish, of course, still going on with all of that. So I think that really makes high external walls much nicer. And this also, there is a little bit more work going on for what seems to be skins for them. Again, I don't know if they're going to be community skins or only first party. One way or another, though, some skins for high external walls seem very, very cool. So I think all of these functions, quality of life kind of stuff for it, is also in a bit of preparation with that. Alright, and as mentioned, ocean visibility has taken another little bit of an upgrade. And there's also another thing coming up with oxygen tanks. I believe it hasn't gone live yet as it's not on the dev blog, but it looks like the deeper you are, the more oxygen it'll use, and the higher up, the less oxygen. So it's gonna have more kind of functions to, what you're doing will wear it down faster, so to say. So let's go ahead and jump on into the water and kind of cruise around here. Then we'll go ahead and remove our goggles. And we'll put them back on again. But that is going to do it, everybody. Sound off down in the comments section below which little changes here you like the most, what you're most excited for coming in the next year. Siege weapons, the primitive tier, the horse changes, a jungle biome, new creatures, new weapons, who knows, whatever, all that kind of stuff. There's a tons of it. Sound off down there, let me know. Always love hearing that. Stay rusty, and if you're playing, enjoy the fresh wipe.